Here we're looking at the new ASUS transformer book T100 CHI, the new one. And you can see it has a 5 megapixel autofocus camera on the outside. It also has a 2 megapixel forward facing camera inside for, Skyping and such. You see it has a laser cut edging on it. And it's very, very, very thin, compared to the older T100, which is a little more, plasticky on the outside. I've had this for over a year. It's served me well. See how much thicker it is than the old one. The big latch on the back, hinge on the back. And if you put them side by side, well, we can even stack them. You can see the thickness difference there. And the new one is a lot thinner. It's on the bottom. And then, of course, as a whole, it's thinner and lighter. But the tablet part is ridiculously thinner than the new one. Here we have a review of the new ASUS T100 CHI. And I've had the ASUS T100 on the left there for over a year. And I'm going to do a direct comparison between the two. We've got the T100, it's running the Z3740 Intel Atom, and the CHI, of course, is running the 23775 Intel Atom processor. So we'll do a review on these two machines. They're both open here. We'll look at the difference. They're both running the same Windows. This is the T100. You can see the thickness of it. And then we'll look at the new CHI. You can see how much thinner it is. A lot thinner. Okay, I've been comparing the two machines quite a bit now, and so I can pass the information along to you that the pros and cons, and we're gonna go with first what might be better about the older version, the T100, compared to the new one. So you could say these are either better or they're not, but for most people they'd probably be better. For example, some people would think that the keyboard on the old T100 is it's a physical connection between the keyboard and the tablet, where the new CHI is not. It's magnetic, and the keyboard is Bluetooth to communicate with the tablet, and the old one, it's direct connection. So the benefit of the direct connection would be that you have no battery in the keyboard to charge. Although on the CHI, that battery should last a while. You wouldn't have to charge it every day. But on the old one, you never have to charge it. That's one advantage. Also, the old one comes with a full-size USB 3.0 port that's physically connected. So when it's docked with the keyboard, you can put a thumb drive in there and, directly. Where the new one has a It has a USB on the side of it, but it's used for charging the keyboard. You'd have to plug it into the side of the tablet with an adapter. You know, you'd have to put an adapter on it in order to use the USB 3.0, you know, and then stick the thumb drive in an adapter. So, you know, that is an advantage. Then I was looking at some other stuff that on the keyboard. This has kind of like a metallic gray with little grayer keys, and this is black, a darker matte black with the dark black keys. It's just you know, what you would like. This is probably a little nicer than the grayish, but I was looking also at like on some of the keys, like you can see here on the F2 key. On the old one, you have a way to disconnect the Wi-Fi function, and then the F2. On the new one, you don't have this, so you have no way to, you know, hardware-wise disconnect the Wi-Fi. You'd have to do it in Windows itself to disconnect the Wi-Fi. That's probably something to do with the dock. You know, it has to be connected, probably. Also, if you look at the new one, some of the keys that doubled or tripled as extra, like there's a scroll lock and a num lock where the insert and delete are. There's also an extra, like 3 different functions on some of these keys, like where the question mark is and all that. They're missing on the new one. So some of the key functionality, obviously, I guess because it's not physically connected, isn't there anymore. Not anything that, you know, you write home about, but, you know, since it is gone, I'm just bringing it to your attention. You know, that's probably about all there is that, you know, between the two that you could say that could be considered better about the old one. Now we'll check the battery life. You can see we're at let's go over to the desktop. See the percentage, 100%. Desktop, 100%. Think. Let me see, is that 100%? Oh, 99. Well, that's good enough. I pulled them both off the charge at the same time. I have a feeling that the old one's going to have better battery life anyway, but we're going to leave them in desktop mode, and let's go ahead. Well, actually, let's go back to the Metro screen and launch YouTube, and we'll run a YouTube video. I'll just see, pick one here. Let's go. I'll just let them play constantly through them all. Start both of these. Oh, unable to load. We'll start this one. Okay. Okay, so they're both running. I'm gonna let them run for like an hour, and then we'll come back and see where the battery life is. It's been a half an hour. We're gonna look at the battery life here. You see on the newer one, we're at 93% on the CHI, and on the older one, we're at 92%. But if you add that percentage point back, they're pretty much equal. Now, I didn't turn on the Bluetooth keyboard, but the Bluetooth is on the CHI. The keyboard isn't connected to it. Whether that would have made a difference, I'm not sure. Now, we were just running a video test. So, but I am surprised that the battery life is that close. So we basically lost 7% on the Chi. And that's not bad for a half an hour, 7%. Which means, you know, if the battery life was consistent over that, that would be like 14% an hour. You know, it basically means it would run for 7 hours before it would get down to 2% critical. So 7 hours running a video, YouTube video, high res, isn't bad, 7 hours. Now the claim is 10 hours battery life, and it was 11 originally on the older T100. So obviously those claims are in standby mode or something because they're very unreasonable. You know. Here we have the Asus T100 and the Asus T100 CHI new model on the right. And we did a SysSoft Sandra benchmark test on between the two, both running the same Windows 8.1 with all the upgrades and no virus protection running in the background, no background programs running. Both freshly booted, and the battery life was about the same, and they're both running off a battery, nope, not plugged in. You can see here that the T100, the older model, got a score of 1.11 kpt, and it's running the Intel Atom Z3740 at 1.33 megahertz, boost to 1.866 megahertz. And over here, the Chi got a score of 1.37 kpt, so it's faster, but you can tell why. It's running a Z3775 at 1.46 megahertz, boosted up to 2.4 megahertz. That's, you know, quite faster speed. So the new Chi is faster. We're going to not go into the detail on the graphics and everything, you know, which one, but you know, pretty much across the board, the new one is faster. Well, the conclusion is that the new Chi T100 is a really nice convertible tablet, netbook size tablet, and the as far as comparing it to the older model of the T100, and now the newer model of this T100 has the same processor and everything as the Chi. So probably if you were to buy the new version, I mean almost definitely if you were to buy the new version of the T100, the performance numbers probably would have been the same, you know. And that way, I think Asus should have probably upgraded at least the memory in the Chi to 4 gigabytes of RAM. Would have made a huge difference, I think, on performance and definitely on multitasking. You wouldn't have to close applications and crap like that ends up happening on these. But they didn't. They could have also offered 128 on the internal storage optional on this, because this is high-end enough. Definitely they should have offered it. I'm sure they're gonna, you know, but they didn't out the gate, which is probably a mistake, in my opinion. But all in all, I would say if you were to buy the original one at the price it's at now, which is pretty much, you can find it for half the price of this, I would say get the old Asus T100 with the new specs, you know, the specs of this one, and you'll be really happy. You won't spend near as much money. If you really want the newer, thinner, sexier model with a really nice high definition display, and you don't care that you're going to spend twice as much, and yes, it has a rear camera and stuff, but and it does have a lot better trackpad, which we discussed. This is the way to go. So if you're as far as upgrading from this to this, you might want to wait until they come out with more memory and more storage before you upgrade. Unless you just really are ready to go to an HD display and a thinner model and stuff. But other than that, they're both real fine products. I've used this one for a long time, have no issues with it at all. And I'm hoping that I'll be running this one now as my new model and taking the place of this one. So I'll run this for over a year, and then I'll make another review and tell you, what it has been like in a year of using it, and when I'm ready to upgrade to the newer model. Hopefully they'll come out with more memory and more space, and then when that happens, I'll upgrade to it, and then I'll do another review. Okay, well, this has been the comparison review between the old T100 with the older chipset and the brand new ASUS Transformer Book CHI.